Hi friends, this is Mangla Pratap and Muralidharan talking to you about strategizing your communication. Most of us today live in a world of pandemic and we don't know how to strategize our communication because the other person who communicates with us may suffer from some loss or sudden health issue or some kind of a stress. Please remember it is our duty to understand the other person and we'll have to increase our emotional intelligence or rather enhance our emotional intelligence to empathize with those people, and we need to communicate effectively in order to make sure that they come out of their troubles. So, how do we do this? It can be done only by working on ourselves first. We'll have to really think about how we communicate and what we communicate and how confident are we, etc. I'll always say any communicator should not react, instead, uh, respond to a situation. It is so easy to react to anything that we get to know or get to hear. It is a bit difficult for us to respond to it only if we are a bit mature emotionally, realize the nitty-gritties of the context in which we are going to communicate. And we should also remember the way we speak or write will influence the other person and sometimes influence anybody who listens to it. So it is our duty, or rather responsibility, to communicate effectively. The best thing I would always say is communicate with positive vibes. If you have positive vibes, it's quite infectious. So the other person who listens to you or talks to you or interacts with you will also get that positive vibe. So that's one of the reasons why we say communication is also about energy transaction, right? So most of us may have some idea about this unless you practice meditation or you understand what is telepathy or you have already read a lot about extrasensory perception, etc. Then you understand our thoughts also have some power to travel beyond what we what we think or what we are generally. So our emotions and thoughts have also energy. That is why we say when you communicate, make sure that you're stable. And when you're emotionally stable, then it is quite easy for you to say things to the other person, and you better assess who the person is and what the person is all about and whether this person is in a right mood to listen to whatever you're saying. So all that you say becomes quite intelligible, easy for the other person to understand. Maybe that person makes use of it to take the next step. So in order to process all that you say, the other person, the receiver, has to have some idea about what you're going to say. So the context of your communication matters a lot. So work on the context of the communication or create and the ambience, which is quite positive for them to listen to. So our ambience helps us to make things better and easier. So I would say, hey, whatever you communicate matters a lot only if that person loves to listen to whatever you say. So make sure you grab the attention of your listeners. Otherwise, it's going to be not so easy for you to impress upon them or influence them. I will always say this even for public speaking or debates or discussions, etc. And it is so easy for us to make them pay attention to whatever we say, provided we empathize with them, we listen to them. So be a better listener if you want to be a great communicator. So most of the greatest communicators on the earth are people who have given their ears to listen to other people. So by listening to other people, you do understand their challenges, their problems, their emotional needs. Sometimes you also see their thinking patterns, etc. And ensure you don't hurt them in any way, right? The way you respond matters a lot for them, and you can influence them if you are strategically good enough to make sure that your thoughts and ideas could be of great help for them at any point of time in their lives. And most of us, as teachers, have this great responsibility to communicate effectively and make them learn so easily. That is why I say strategizing your communication matters a lot. Some of us are working in other fields as leaders of our own respective fields. We have to learn to communicate easily, effectively, without much of egoistic assertion. And some of us think our egoistic assertions could help us to communicate things. Please remember, it is not going to help you in any way, right? The greatest model of communication is to be an example for the others to possibly look at and learn. That's why we say lead by example. Be an example for others. I could really agree with some of you who may not really have the same worldview of whatever I say, but explore it if you have time, and if you are ready to think beyond what you are at the moment. Explore other means of communication. I would always talk about Mahatma Gandhi and his style of communication as the best model for people to follow. I remember listening to a narration of one of my teachers once, who talked about how Gandhi influenced Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel to be to be his follower. And how did he do that? It's so easy, right? He went all the way to communicate to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel to a local club. Mahatma Gandhi was someone who wanted him to come and meet him in his ashram. It never happened. He was so angry with people. So it was Babu Rajendra Prasad who informed him that he was willing to meet, but he wanted Gandhi to come and meet him in the club where he was playing cards. Gandhi immediately went to the place. Everybody ran away except Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And even Sardar was willing to run away from that particular place because he had some feeling of guilt of, meeting Gandhi there in the club. But Gandhi was so open and he was so humble. Hence, he went and started talking to him, persuaded him about why he has to participate in the freedom struggle of this country. And that is why I would say, uh, communication matters a lot. It is not about egoistic assertion. Gandhi influenced Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel for his lifetime, right? He became one of the greatest followers of Mahatma Gandhi. And wherever Gandhi went, he used very polite, humble ways of interacting with people and making people believe what he said. And he did live his life as he wanted, and he wanted people to follow it. And remember, you might know several secrets of how Gandhi suffered because of his non-violent method. I would say it is possible for you to think beyond what you are at the moment, but be an exemplar in communication by following an easy way of being humble, simple, easily intelligible, and available for people to interact with, accepting their opinions, and have always a room to disagree. Even if people disagree with you, accept that, because there should be a scope for disagreement. Otherwise, how would you learn? You learn by doing things, you learn by interacting with people, and think through their perspective and see whether you could create your own ways of expressing ideas in a polite, humble manner. So I wish you can learn more about it, and I'm sure you could strategize your communication by thinking about these greatest um, ideas that I have given you in terms of understanding others, persuading the others, making them believe in what you say, helping them to enrich their life meaningfully by interacting with them. And this is how we can change the way we do or the way we behave in life. Thank you very much. Hope the next video helps you in a big way about this. Bye bye. See you.